Guys, there is a revolutionary plan to drastically increase EV sales here in Australia. And it's really not about the EVs themselves. I think this plan will work. I'm a big fan of it. I really hope it goes ahead. It looks like it's very likely it will, of course, unless Peter Dutton is elected, and I'm sure he'll do everything he can to slow down EVs and renewable energy because the guy is a bit mental. Here's the plan to save EV sales, and not just save them, but drastically increase them here in Australia. Hello, my friends. Welcome to the channel. I'm Sam Evans. You're watching the Electric Viking. Great to have you with us. Thanks for supporting the channel. I personally have an EV charger. It's the Hypervolt EV charger. And if you want to get one, well, I'll put a link in the description below. Anyway, the point is I use solar. I have an EV charger and it's brilliant, right? I can charge my car for free. I charged it for free today, completely for free, from about 25% up to 85%. Paid nothing. But a lot of Australians are not in that position, right? They don't have the ability to just park their car in their driveway and plug it in. So this is a problem that's not just affecting Australians, it's affecting people all over the world. Here in Australia, there is a plan to make EV charging available to literally everyone. Australia currently has over 5,000 public electric car chargers, which is good, but to be honest, it's nowhere near what's needed. If we had tens of thousands more of them, I think a lot more people would be buying electric cars. I think, in fact, huge numbers would be buying them. I mean, look at China. Everyone knows in China, there's EV chargers everywhere. Fast ones, good chargers, they're literally everywhere. You don't need to worry about finding an electric car charger. Calls for a major change to Australia's electric vehicle charging infrastructure are coming from industry specialists who say this will drive down costs for drivers while significantly boosting EV sales. In a report released last week, Energy Networks Australia said allowing distribution networks to install, own and maintain EV chargers on their existing power poles would overcome the key barriers to EV ownership, currently caused by inadequate charging infrastructure. This is an issue for a lot of people, right? A lot of people, I mean, look at this photo here of people, there's images of people running power leads across nature strips, across public walkways to try and charge their car in the street. Speaking to Yahoo News Australia, Nick Black, Ausgrid's head of EVC and infrastructure development, said by updating regulations to enable networks to deploy chargers on their power poles, we can make charging available to everyone no matter where they live. I mean, this would be like having a fuel pump, right, in front of your house everywhere. Everyone in Australia would have one. It'd be brilliant. And the thing is, electricity is much cheaper, right, than gasoline. It's much more efficient. EVs are about 90 to 93% efficient, whereas internal combustion cars are around 30 to 34% efficient. Imagine how much power you're actually losing simply by burning gasoline or burning diesel, burning petrol. Power poles are primarily designed for electricity distribution, not for direct customer use. Retrofitting them to support EV charging requires some upgrades, including the installation of charging units, safety mechanisms, and metering systems. Ensuring that poles can handle the additional load without compromising grid stability is one technical hurdle facing the proposal. But here's the thing. I mean, these power poles could handle the load if they're rated at something like, say, 7 kilowatt charging. Because homes everywhere across Australia have 7 kilowatt chargers. They're everywhere, and I've never heard of any problems with them whatsoever. So I don't see why adding a 7 kilowatt AC charger to power poles would be a problem. In fact, I think it could be a brilliant solution. What do you guys think? Now, he said by opening up access to all charging providers, we can also bring down the costs. Think about it, right? The cost of electricity during the day, I mean, you're not getting really anything anymore for your solar feed into the grid. And the key reason is because there's just too much solar power during the day. The grid is getting overwhelmed by that. But if everyone's charging their EVs during the day, we can soak up all that extra energy and not waste it. It's a brilliant solution. And therefore, it should mean charging your EV during the day would be quite cheap. EV chargers should be where they are needed, not where they are economically viable, Black told Yahoo. By leveraging existing infrastructure, we minimize disruption and ensure a least cost, reliable, accessible charging infrastructure and experience for everyone. And it's one that can be maintained much like streetlights. This model will provide competition between EV charging retailers, bringing down prices and promoting transparency of costs. It's also going to soak up all that extra electricity being wasted, curtailed, they call it, during the middle of the day. He said that our proposal reduces charging costs to consumers significantly by providing AC curbside charging that would be similar to the cost of charging at home. This represents huge savings for the 30% of our customers in our network who do not have access to off-street parking and currently pay a premium to charge as they can't charge at home. Plus, it's a pain in the backside, right? A proposal makes deploying pole-mounted AC charging more cost-efficient for consumers as it eliminates the transaction costs that are currently being passed on to them in the current regulatory framework. Guys, I've done videos before showing you some of the curbside charging options in other countries. Like in Germany, for example, some places they have chargers in the actual gutter. So in literally down in the concrete bit of strip that actually aligns the road, there's charging points in some countries. There are some of those in Australia as well. So that's another option too, but that's obviously going to require a lot more work to put that under the road and into the concrete. Just sticking a charger on the side of a power pole would require fairly minimal amount of work. But deploying EV chargers on power poles involves navigating complex regulatory frameworks. And unfortunately, regulations are always a problem, especially in countries like Australia. Authorities need to approve modifications and compliance with safety, zoning, and utility regulations, and that's going to be a hold up on this happening. Current regulations need an upgrade or update to support EV charging. And current regulations, they were written before EVs even existed. That's part of the problem. The current regulations need an update to reflect the opportunity that sits within the existing electricity distribution networks, said the electricity suppliers themselves. This will drive a cheaper, faster, and more equitable transition. Allow them to provide infrastructure to support customers' net zero choices, such as EV charging infrastructure, so anyone, no matter where they live, can charge near their homes and businesses. In 2024, approximately 91,300 EVs were sold in Australia, accounting for 7.4% of the entire car market of 1.236 million vehicles. Tesla dominated the market still. It has 42% market share, in spite of the fact that there is literally more than 100 different models. This reflects a drop, though, from their 50% market share in 2023. The Australian market is set to expand further in 2025 with around 40 new EV models expected to launch this year. In fact, by my count, it's closer to 50 new EV models. That'll mean the total number of cars available in Australia in terms of models will increase by nearly 50%. And there's going to be so many different choices for customers. A lot of them are just phenomenal value as well. Government initiatives, including new emissions laws and supportive policies, could spike EV sales. The other thing worth considering here, the amount of people installing solar panels on their roofs in 2024 here in Australia has drastically increased. That means a whole lot of people that really should buy an EV because they can save a whole lot of money. You're going to save a whole huge amount of money by installing solar. You might as well double your savings. In fact, you probably more than double. You might even triple your savings by getting an EV and using all that extra energy you're going to generate on your home during the day to charge it. Now, I know people can't do that. So for those people who can't do that, this to me, in my opinion, is the perfect solution. I hope the government can approve this because they should. They should be pushing this through. If these electricity companies want to go and install these chargers on their power poles, I don't think we should be stopping them. I think this is a brilliant idea and it should be happening as soon as possible. Do you agree? Let me know what you think in the comments.